right? I believe we are experiencing being live.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yeah, what do you got, Paul?
Okay, what's working to rank? Seriously. I mean, I think the whole thing is going for a shit in a handbag. With all the Google updates and algorithms and changes, and like I've seen a lot of my sites plummet and having a difficult time getting them back. So like, does anything work anymore? I know this is just right out there, but I'd love to hear some feedback on that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think things have certainly changed with the Google Business Profile. They've gotten tougher. I think from an organic perspective, the same tried and true stuff has been working for us with content, with backlinks. I think, we've all, maybe we started out at one spot and then we've shifted around a little bit, and it's hard to know what your process is and to see like where things may be causing different results. For instance, like Paul, what's like the main way that you get backlinks?
Wow. There's a plethora of different methods for backlinks. Like just everything. I mean, everywhere, like, you can find them just about everywhere, right? I normally go in and I'll use Ahrefs to do a link intersect to see what links my competitors have that I don't have. And I'll go in and I'll try to reverse engineer that, see if I can get those. The ones I can't get, I'll go and buy from No BS Marketplace. I'll buy a guest post, a full-blown post, usually a couple $100, and I'll just keep matching them until I get to where I want to go. But I think my overall question is, so is it just backlinks that, if you've got 600 websites like I have, I just need to go out and buy tens of thousands of backlinks. I'm going to push them all to the top?
I don't think there's any one thing that is going to solve a ranking issue. Like just to say like, hey, just do this and it's going to work. You got to have great content. If your content isn't great, if you have shitty content, but you have strong backlinks, well, like it's hard to predict what that's going to taste like to Google, But I think when you have everything kind of like dialed in and it's all, everything is clicking, this is when you have ranking. Google's shaking things up. And I think it's always important when the doomsday starts to come in, is like, let's kind of zoom out. What does Google want from 100-mile view? What is their goal? Their goal is to try to match the best content, the most authoritative, the most trusted person with the person that's searching. They can't change that because their search results are going to get ruined, right? So they're always going to have to stick to that. The reason that they have value is because when we search for something, they give us the ability to find what we're looking for. So if we start our SEO journey with that in mind and we never deviate from it, so we write the best content. And, if you're getting like links, Google's aware of people buying links. So, that's something to be concerned with. And the links that you have that are going to your site, are they actually niche relevant? Are they, or do they just look like the metrics have been manufactured, right? The Ahrefs, UR and DR, that's just some company. Google doesn't consult with them, right? That's just some company who created the system that's kind of like analyzing these links. That doesn't mean anything to Google. They don't give a shit about that, right? So like, what are those links? Are they actually coming from like niche relevant sites? This is why I think it's important to take advantage of the link circles, right? You go and you buy this stuff from No BS. Another thing, like just mentioning, we had tried No BS for a while, and then we realized that, hey, this is just a collection of sites, and I can get these links at a third of the price if I just reach out to so they'll give you a list of like 100. And if I just reach out to these people on my own, I can get them for $40 instead of $150. So maybe that allows you to get more of them. But then I think that's also devalued. I think maybe Google has devalued some of these like link purchasing stuff over the last few years, where that maybe used to work a little bit better. And now maybe what we should do, part of it is use a tool like Registered Compass to look at expired domains and try to like buy the domains, right? Maybe shifting more towards like a PBN network. I was talking to my team about this the other day. So the reviews for the Google business profiles, that is absolutely working. That's a huge factor. We've had sites that are crushing it, and I don't know if Google removed our reviews because they had a mistake that they had mentioned, or maybe they removed it because the validity of the reviews, they didn't believe in it. But we saw our rankings tank, and then we monitor our heat map average and our top 3 percentage for like the priority projects every week. And there is a definite correlation. Every single week we have those averages, like here's where we were last week, here's where we are now. And as those reviews go up, that improves. So that's a big part of it. If you're using content that's like, Paul, is your content mostly spun, or are you guys actually writing it? Like,
No, we're
AI content.
We're writing all our content. We're putting it in Surfer SEO, so we sort of know how it's going to rank before it hits the web. But it's that's how we write it.
Okay. Even the topics that you maybe Surfer SEO can help direct you towards this, but I think topically you want to make sure that you're choosing the right things. I was talking to my buddy who's got a really successful agency, and he has this method where he was like building out his agency website. He was looking at Facebook groups, and inside the Facebook groups, people that were like an industry Facebook group. So he's in painting. So imagine he's going through the painting group and people are asking questions, and then he would take that content and put it on his site. And it was like he was answering the questions that people were searching for. And then he started just ranking organically really, really well for all these different things. And it didn't necessarily look like some of this stuff had search volume, but it has search volume, right? Because he started like, it was creating a lot of leads for him, and he's closing, this is for his agency. He's closing like, 80% of the people that he closes for a high ticket agency offer are coming in organically to his agency website that is specifically targeted towards painting. And all the content came from like people asking questions in Facebook. So I think if you can put the right content on your site and then answer real questions rather than just like trying to spit out like what, like just, we're just trying to like fill up our website with pages and we're just like spitting out whatever content. Like we've done that a lot. And I think maybe that isn't as effective as it used to be. So these are just kind of like my opinions. Paul, is this giving you any direction on this?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, are you struggling with the GBP rankings or the organic or both?
No, more so with just the website rankings.
The website rankings.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be the quality of content, the amount of content, and then the links that are associated with it. I would do a serious evaluation on the backlink profile of the links that you're getting. I would much rather have like fewer really like high quality niche relevant ones that aren't going to be like spammed out. Some of those ones that are purchased links, like other people are purchasing them sometimes, and maybe your link, maybe that page has 10 other links on it. One strategy that can work really well is also like niche relevant websites that aren't really on those sites, having an outreach team to actually say, hey, can I pay you to just refer people to us from your website? Just throw a link on here and refer people to us that way, right? So yeah, I think we have to keep adapting though. Like the goal remains the same from Google. Their like perception of how they're going to evaluate, or I guess their evaluation criteria of how to reach that goal changes, and we have to adapt with it. But ultimately, if we just decide, hey, I'm going to be the authority on remodeling in Canada, right? Where like I'm going to have the best information and answer real questions. Like, what if you build a calculator, like a kitchen calculator? Like that would be an amazing resource that is going to draw that's content, right? So if we kind of like get outside of this, let me just keep on like throwing more words and just like straight content and like, let's provide real value. I think you're going to see like approach it as if you were the business owner instead of a lead gen, that kind of like separation, Like,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Great ideas. Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Who else? So I guess like I had a presentation prepared. We started off with like a smaller group. We've got, I guess we're still a pretty small group for what we normally do. So I guess let's kind of shift it. I'll push the presentation off until next week's call. But let's talk. Who has questions? What are you guys struggling with? What's working for you? Let's make it more of like a kind of like a round table than our typical, I'm going to give you a presentation.
Yeah, I don't mind pitching in, Patrick.
Yeah.
So I know I made my switch to, kind of along with Paul was saying, my literally focus and offer, especially coming off the mastermind, is flipping that around. Obviously it depends on the niche, it depends on the service and the area, but I literally, in my conversations with the prospects, I ask them, where are you getting most of your phone calls? And a lot of service-based businesses are GMB. So I literally just focus on ranking the GMB, getting those phone calls in like yesterday. That's really been working for me, like huge.
Alfredo, what are you doing to rank the GMB?
So it's kind of the basic stuff, but you nailed it right on the dot. Reviews, optimization of the actual GMB, and then what I call like basic, not basic, but best practices. The citations, the press release, the Web 2.0s. So that helps solidify the GMB, helps solidify the backlinks, and solidify keywords. And it does tie in a little bit to the website. And I'm not saying the website is not important, but it buys me some grace and time, because as the GMB ranks, they're getting phone calls. So they're happy. They don't bother you while I work on the website to get that up and going. So I'm not so pressed to, depend on the website for phone calls, if that makes sense. But it's really just still the simple, basic stuff. I just flip that around. I focus on the GMB first, and all the, like I said, citations, Web 2.0s. I press release. I'll throw out a press release out there. And then as far as the backlinks, the way I do it is expired domains. Look at the profile, make sure they're in the right category, in the right niche, not just the backlink, just to buy a backlink, so we can get that trust flow going. And then shoot it over to like the service pages, locations, not necessarily to the money page, but that's kind of like what I do as far as the backlink. And it's cheaper too. I mean, what's an expired domain cost and one page, and then point it as far as the backlink.
Right.
So that's what I've been doing for GMBs. And it's been working gangbusters.
That's great. Yeah. This is, we haven't messed around a lot with the Web 2.0 stuff, but everything else that you've done, I think we're going to move our agency more to like a bigger focus on the expired domain part.
Hey, Alfredo, you said you're pointing those to your money site or to the GMB?
Both. I'll do both. The service pages, location pages. It depends on the customer, the niche, and the area. The key there though is the trust flow. Make sure it's not spammy. Check the profile, obviously, right? Because those expired domains still have backlinks going to them, and you're just trying to flow that juice over to you. As long as they're clean, and it's a lot cheaper. It's not as hard as people think to do.
I agree. I think there's some opportunity to shoot yourself in the foot if you're not careful with the expired domain stuff.
Yeah.
Are you running them all off the same host or?
Yeah, because I'm not that technical, guys. So like I keep it super simple, So yeah, same host, one pager, and point them wherever I want it.
What I would add to that, Alfredo, put Cloudflare into that equation for yourself. So like Cloudflare is like, it does, if you guys don't have your sites on Cloudflare, there's a training that we did in the past on how to set that up and the benefits of it. It will protect your sites. It will make them faster. It also will anonymize the host. So you're essentially, you buy the domain and you point the DNS records at Cloudflare, right? So then you set up Cloudflare with your host. So that way, like Cloudflare is standing in between the internet. If someone were to like do a DNS lookup or anything like that on your website, they're going to see Cloudflare and they're not going to know who your host is. So it would not, like, we have all of our sites on Cloudflare. So it doesn't really matter what host they're on because Cloudflare is in the way, and Cloudflare is huge. So it doesn't leave so much of a footprint, right? It's one of the, yeah. So that would be the step that I'd add in there. And then you're kind of like protecting yourself from that footprint to some extent. Like Cloudflare is a super popular site used by huge organizations all over the world. So that'd be a tweak I'd add in there. I see Greg Adams had your hand up and then it went down. Greg, did you have a question or did I somehow just answer it with that random tangent?
No, I just want to kind of echo on what Alfredo said right now. What customer I'm working with right now, and I'm trying to grow it out, is my main focus of what I see moving the needle most is the GMB. And what I'm doing there is, putting that constant content onto their Google business profile. And that's really starting to, see the, the rankings going up. The niche that we're in is very, very competitive. And I told him when going into it, I said, there's a lot of big boys we're going up against. It's got a lot of money and a lot of time it's been in the business. But for me, I'm redoing his site right now as well. But the whole key thing that I wanted to echo what he's saying right there is the constantly adding to the Google business profile. That's what I'm really seeing move the needle. And the other thing I'm struggling with is, what I put out there before is, the techniques now, how people are getting the Google business profile, because what I want to be able to do is to build out your model of building out other properties. I got some really good domains I want to build it out for, but I really kind of feel with not having a GMB on it, I think I'm putting a lot of time into it and wasting a lot of time by not having a Google business profile. So if I come up how to get that going, and I know it's always a moving needle because that's where we're fighting against Google, but I think that's probably for me, the most pressing issue right now, because I could take his stuff right now and I've got other domains built in that category around him that I can actually take him from X amount he's paying me now. And within, several months, I can actually double what he's already paying me, stack on what I'm already doing with this guy.
Yeah, that's great. I think that the GMB acquisition game has changed a lot. And I know that there's like providers out there that can get them. We're like experimenting with one now. I think the video verification part of it, I'm not going to go into the strategy of it on this call or probably in this group, but I think there's an opportunity to, I think a lot of people viewed that as a problem. And I really think it's an opportunity. If you can present the right information on this video call, you can get those things to go live. And I think that they're going to be more bulletproof than they would be through like a postcard. I've heard in some of the more heavily scrutinized niches, they do video verification and a postcard, which is like kind of a new wrinkle. But for those of you guys that are in our coaching program, you saw what we had put together on the video verification stuff. And I think it's a amazing opportunity that Google has provided us to get GMBs live and get them live quickly, and then not have like they're coming live as much more trusted, right? So one thing I would add as a part of this GBP stuff, I would be posting. I got like posting it in there a few times a week. I would be hesitant to continuously log in if you don't have it connected through an API and you're going to like keep logging in and like adding more and more information. I think you're rolling the dice, and maybe like 1 time out of 10, it's like, I don't understand what's going to trigger it, but you could risk a suspension if you're logging in like every day and just like kind of like playing with stuff and tweaking things nonstop. So I would approach that with some caution.
And you have that on LeadSnap, right, Patrick? We can do that still?
Yeah, we're actually beefing it up quite a bit. We have these huge updates that just went live this morning inside of our test version. So some of the stuff that's coming in there is your ability, like we're launching the recurring post where it can recur forever and it will delete the previous post. We've been talking about how we have like ChatGPT start to spend the post for us so that and replace the previous one. We don't have that as a part of this update, but that's kind of on my radar to build that in. But you could set up that recurring post and you could set it to recur forever. And every time that new post goes live, it deletes the previous one. So that means there's no duplicate out there, right? So that's on there. And you have the ability to add photos and drip photos and LeadSnap too. So if you want to have like 50 photos dripped and geotagged, you can do that pretty quickly, where you just like drop those into LeadSnap and then say, hey, I want one photo to go live every 10 days. And then it will just drip it out for, however many.
That'll be
days.
cool. Thanks. Good.
Nick, you're not muted. Or are you commenting on what I was saying?
I was commenting. I said, I appreciate that. That'll be good for us to get. And I gave you a thumbs up because you said I was muted.
Yeah, that stuff's in there now.
It is?
Yeah, the photo dripping and the recurring post is live. The chat GPT part is not. Yeah. Oh, I see Alec Newmeyer. The photo drip would be awesome. It's already in there, Alec. So just start taking advantage of it, man.
What category is it under, Patrick? What tab? If I were to
I'll demo it for you guys real quick.
Cool.
Give me a second.
Thanks, man.
Here. Yeah. While I'm bringing this up, do we have any other questions?
I like to do a self plugin. We're going to have these LeadSnap tech calls for stuff like this too, once a month, which I'm pretty excited about.
First Tuesday of the month, you guys can enjoy the like Q&A calls, and you can serve yourself up a nice plate of Alfredo sauce there. He's going to take care of it. Hold on one second. Sometimes I can't log into my own. There we go. Okay, cool. Let me share my screen. I'll walk you guys through this. Okay, can you guys, somebody give me a thumbs up?
Yeah, we see it.
All right, cool. Okay, so if you come in here to the, man, this stuff is all about to change. This is gonna change. So much is gonna change in here. It's gonna be, I can't wait to get this out. But if you come in here to one of your GBPs that's connected, and you can see the media, right? So let me pull over, hang on a second. All right, I'm going to pull over a couple photos here and I'll just drop those in there. So, all right, so you can kind of see we've reorganized how the photos work, and we've kind of like changed it so that way you can see the keywords and any geotagging stuff that's in there. But I'm just going to drag over some photos here. And when I click on next, okay, so you can see the categories. So I could say, hey, I want this to be a cover photo, and maybe I want to rename this to landscaping Toronto, right? And then I could add in my keywords. And then if I want to, I could go over here and I'll just say, I can spell Toronto. Okay, we'll go with this here. And then I can just drag this wherever I want. And it's, you see how the coordinates are changing, and I can zoom in and I could put this wherever I want. And I click on apply, and you see now it's like geotagged it. And if I want to drip this, I can come up here and I'll say, I want to add one photo every 10 days. So I'll just schedule this. Notice over here on the right side right now, it says the 19th. So once I click on schedule, you see how it changed it to be the 29th and the 9th. So if I have like 50 photos, then I could pretty quickly, I can go through and geotag them all. I can rename them. I can add keywords, and I can schedule them to drip onto the GBP over time.
This is live right now?
Yeah, this is LeadSnap right here. This is just my test account inside LeadSnap, leadsnap.com.
Boom.
I always forget that when we mention this, I got to do a better job of like pushing out these features to you guys so you know they exist. I think we're gonna have something where like a little video will come up every time a new feature inside here to make sure people see it, because we launch this cool stuff, we mention it, but everyone's busy and it slips through the cracks on people. So that one's there. We have a really cool feature that we're about to launch as well for locking the profile. So you'll see we added services in here too, so you can add in your services, but you'll be able to lock the profile. So So basically what will happen if the profile is locked is when someone makes a suggestion, then it will automatically reject the suggestion if it doesn't match the existing stuff. So if someone's saying like, hey, this GBP is closed, then it will say, it will automatically reject that. So no one can really like sneak one by the goalie on us, right? Where they're making some kind of suggestion. And we're also building in, so you'll get the notification up here. So this is going to go live with our new update. So we're building in when that suggestion comes in, it'll be listed. You'll get the notification, it'll be listed, and you can accept or reject it, or you can set it to like automatically reject. So that's going to be all this stuff. Some of it may be going live on Friday, and then maybe some more the beginning of next week. You know why we're on here? Since most people, let's get into it, man. This is the prototype for what we're launching. So you can kind of see this is pulling in citations. So we're going to have like the citations being pulled in from like all. So when it says sync citations, it's not actually going in and adding them on these locations, but it's reporting back to you what citations you have live. And then you could say, okay, which ones are live? Which ones have errors where they don't match the GBP? Which ones are missing from the most important citations? And power citations are essentially our opinion of the most important citations that you should have. So that way you could tell if there is, if it's live or not. So, and then right here, you could click to go to the citation, and then, or you could refresh that citation to make sure it's there. So that's the citations part of it. The analytics, this is another piece we're about to launch where the Google Business Profile Analytics, you'll be able to compare and kind of see like how many website clicks. We already have parts of this, but we've just kind of improved the user interface, and we've given you this compare option. So you'll be able to see your search terms in here, your categorical searches.
Patrick,
yeah.
will we be able to integrate this with the white label side of what the client can see from their dashboard or their access
everything
level?
Yeah, basically by default everything that is in here is going to be like on the white label, right? So like with the white label, we don't want you guys to miss out on features because of we don't, because it's not available in the white label. So everything, the requirement that I've given to my developers is like everything always has to be like white labelable, and there has to be permissions with it as well. So you've got all of these different like data points on here. I mean, we're like, here's how I feel. I feel like I'm super competitive, and some of these people have like climbed up with like some Google Business Profile stuff, and I still looking at comparing them, knowing all the ins and outs of our system and maybe not knowing all the ins and outs of theirs. I'm like, man, we have a massive advantage over these people. But with what we're about to release, I think that these people are going to look at this, the ones that are paying attention to it, and they're just going to be like, oh shit, like this, like, why would someone pick mine? Because LeadSnap has 100 times more. So this is why I was kind of like holding off on this. You notice how we're changing the left menu over here. So rank tracking, we're going to be pulling in organic, mobile, and desktop. So you can get your organic, mobile, and desktop rankings in here. And then the heat map is going to change a little bit. Like, I mean, it's still going to be mostly the same. You're going to have it like just a little bit different view. Notice up here, we're going to have all the heat maps, like making it easier to filter by having your GBPs up here and then being able to create groups of those GBPs. So you can still flip through this. We're going to start showing the categories. That was a good recommendation that we had from some people, because like sometimes like people are ranking better, and maybe the people that are ranking the best all have the same category, and we have a different one, and that information wasn't available. So we want to put that right in your face so you can make that evaluation. And then moving into the Google Business Profile Summary, so much more of like rank tracking. So in this particular one, Tom's Landscaping, notice I can look at it by GMB or by group, right? So I could say, hey, I want to put these in a group, and I'm going to evaluate these as a group. So in that case, maybe there's a lot more keywords, but we're going to see how things are moving as a group. So how many keywords are being tracked? How many have gone down? How many have improved? How many have held steady? What the average is across this list of keywords that we have, what the top 3% is, what the movement looks like in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and so on, right? And then how is that distribution of our ranking? So then if you click on any of these, you'll go to the keyword analysis page, and you've also got a graph that will show you how these things are performing against each other. Right. Okay, this is how it's ranking. So these shouldn't be such big numbers, but this is just kind of like our prototype. And then when you go, like we have the share. So this is another part. So for us that are doing like reports to our clients, we can give them a link one time and that link will always be good. Right. So this page will update based on like the dates. So I could say, okay, this is what it is for the last 30 days. So a month from now, if they click on this link, then it's going to be the most recent 30 days, right? So it's going to be adjusting in real time. So we have these different, you can choose which ones you want. If you want to include the keyword analysis page, the GBP summary, and the heat maps. So that link, you set it up and say, hey, I want to share this link, and it'll include whatever pages. And then you can, when you go to do this, you can always shut this link off if you don't want them to have access to it anymore. But making the reporting a lot easier on this piece. And then the keyword analysis, you guys are going to love this. This is super cool. So similar information to start with, like, hey, we have this average, we have the top 3 spots and whether we've increased or decreased. So this is on a keyword level. We can see where we are with high ranking grid points, mid ranking, and low ranking. And then if I want to look at it over time, so I could say, okay, how was it on April 18th? How was it on April 14th? So I could look at how this is moving over time really easily. You can also kind of, on the last page, you had a similar option. But if I want to compare this, we've moved our compare to put it kind of more like this. I think it's a little bit easier, and there's a scroll bar over here. And then you've also got like trend analysis for the keyword, where it's like, what is the average ranking over time for this one keyword? I can switch and look at other, competitors and evaluate some of their stuff. Or I can look at the average score of the top 3%. Like, how is that moving over time? Are we improving? Are we like losing ground? We can select our different keywords. So if I want to load a different one up here, then I can choose that right from there. And then, yeah, we can always, like, if we click on one of these, we can load up our competitors, this heat map from our competitors' viewpoint, just like we can now. So a lot of really cool stuff. And then we're changing kind of like the tracking areas. So you, rather than like having the grids, we're going to shift that around a little bit and set it up as what we call our like tracking area. So I could say, okay, this is the tracking area if I want to edit it. If I ever want to load one, then I can load it. But we can essentially come through and set up our tracking areas right through here. So kind of like not forcing. I think it's going to increase the usability when you're trying to like load the heat map. So you can build these areas, save them, and then reference them throughout the application. See what other pieces we have in here for you guys. We're moving. So that's the tracking areas. So yeah, we're having like the groups. Like, so this is how it's going to be right now. Here's what kind of annoys me about the system now is like when I want to go to a certain page, I've got to like go to the first page and then navigate to the tab. So we're trying to increase this usability by pulling it all out here, and you'll be able to go right to those sections. You have kind of like more management. I think I missed a page in here. A second here. So we have the organic mobile and organic desktop and the local stuff. This is kind of like just not in its final format. This page right here won't be coming out immediately. We've got the keyword analysis. I think I'm missing the tracking page. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Are you guys liking this? Throw in the chat. It looks like we've got some good feedback on there. What do you guys think of this? Are you guys psyched to be able to take advantage of this?
Yeah, big time.
Awesome. Here's the suggestions. This is the suggestions one that I was telling you guys about, where it's like you can lock the location and you can see the suggestions that have come in. So I could see like this person tried to make a suggestion to change our primary phone number on it looks like November 2nd. And this is the current value, and this is what they suggested, and it got accepted. These ones are pending, so I could either reject or accept it. But if I turn on this lock location, then everything that doesn't match, like essentially everything is going to be rejected. You'll still get the notification, but you'll kind of like have that history of it. And then we're building in like a GBP history as well. So there's going to be like a log. So any changes that have happened, whether that be through a suggestion, someone adding photos, reviews, updating service hours, anything that happens is going to be in that log. I think that's going to be really valuable for us to like reverse engineer maybe why something got suspended or what's happened. Like, hey, this is moving. What did I do to it? Like a list of the post, anything that has happened in that GBP, we're going to have it in a log from like the smallest changes. I'm not sure if we can catalog logins, but if we can, I'd like to put the logins on there too and say, okay, somebody logged in from this country and then it was suspended afterwards. Is there a place to log a note if we added, oh man, I love that you guys are so engaged here, but it's hard to keep up. Is there a place in the note if we added off-page stuff? That'd be great. That's a great idea. Who was that? Alec. Yeah, that's an awesome idea. I hadn't thought to do that, but I'm going to work that in there. That's instant approval for me on that one. I see that right away. Suggestions look great. That's awesome. I'm glad you're liking it, Henry. Like if I added a bunch of citations for Web 2.0, yeah, that'd be that goes back to your first one. That'd be awesome. For any of you guys that are using Citation Vault, man, we've been talking to Citation Vault for a while to try to have an integration in there. Get in Andy's ear if you guys are friends with him and talking to him and say, hey man, you guys should do an integration with LeadSnap, because I think it would make your guys' life a lot easier and be a really good benefit for him. I want to pull over this tracking page if I can find it real quick. Any other questions about this stuff while I'm looking for this page?
Hey, Patrick, is there a way to save grids? Like if I always want to do a 13 by 13 quarter mile.
Yeah, so that's essentially what this is right here. Is nope, that's not what that is. The target areas. This is grids right here.
But without saving the location, like I can change location, but I want my dots to be the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is, Alfredo, is like you can, so this tracking area is essentially this area over here. And then you could take this and apply it to whatever search you want, to whatever GBP you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I don't have to, right now we have those two fields, right? Radius, dot, between dots, and then 9 by 9, 13 by 13. I just want to have it preset.
That's exactly what I was trying to go for and improve the usability of this thing, is by like having people create the grids that they want and then just apply them in searches. And this is kind of the missing piece that I was looking for. So this will be like our tracking settings where you could say, okay, this is the location, Boston Landscaping, and this is the website URL that's associated with it. And then this is the tracking area. So this is where we would say, hey, this is the area that I want to, for the keywords I'm tracking, which is down here, I can turn them on and turn the tracking on and off for those keywords. And then it's going to be, I want to hit this area. I want to hit this tracking area, right? So this tracking area shouldn't be called Boston Landscaping. It should be called like Boston, right? Because it's just the grid. It's just that map area. And then I could apply it to anyone that I want to in that area. And I can make as many of those as I want, right? So
is this tracking take away credits from the heat maps, or is it separate?
That's exactly how it's going to work. You're going to use those. So rather than the heat maps just being like segmented, you'll have all the heat maps, but we're also going to use that data to create these like the keyword rankings tracking. So we're gonna use it for two purposes. One, hey, here's the heat map, but let's take that data so you can decide how you want to use those credits. And that's where this scheduling, you could still go and run your like one-off heat maps if you want to, but we're going to make it really easy to track the keywords, right? So I could come and say, how often do you want to schedule these? So that's where this is, every 16 weeks starting on April 7th. And then what do you want to track? This won't be like an extra heat map use, because we're already scraping the data for the heat map. We're just going to scrape additional data. So that'll be included with your desktop and your mobile and then your Google Maps ranking. And then down here, you can turn them on and off, or if you want to add one of these, you would just come up and say, hey, I want to add, I've got like window cleaning. I've got that keyword in another one. So I just want to click here. I'm going to add that to this GBP, or we've got them in groups. So you can make groups of keywords if I want to add a whole group, or if I want to add like a list, then I can add those in there and that will start tracking it here. And I can turn them on and off right here if I want to stop the tracking for that one. Does that make sense? Is that clear on how that's working?
Yes, yes.
I'll show you one other thing. I'd love to get your guys' feedback on this. Tell me what you guys think of this. So here's where people struggle, I think, is sometimes we want to track GBPs that maybe we can't log into anymore, or we can't. We're going to separate out the ability to track it and the ability to manage it. So you'll be able to add it without even having a login. So if you come over here and I choose to add a location, this will be if you have a login. You'll say, hey, I want to authenticate. So if I authenticate, then I'll go through and I'll choose this. And then the next step, I've authenticated my GBP. You're going to go to this tracking page. So it's going to have this one selected, the one that you picked, and like what keywords do you want to use for that? So that's like one way that you'd add the GBP and set it up. So we're moving much more towards like wizards to try to make it super simple for you guys to set stuff up. Or if I add a location, but I don't have the login for it, but I want to start my keyword tracking. So, okay, let me go through. I search on Google. None of these are mine. So then basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a little video here that's going to show you how to get your map URL, and you'll go and you'll get it. You'll add it in there, and then you'll just confirm that this is actually your location. And then you're back here again. So the process for starting the tracking, we're trying to make that a lot easier. You guys like this wizard setup? Does that seem simple to you? Just throw in the chat. I'd love to hear your feedback. I feel like, I have Jeff reach out to people when they churn, and I do too. And our goal is not to try to like stop people from churning. It's more of like, where did we fail people? And a lot of them are like, well, the system looks great, but I haven't really used it. And my goal is like, well, if we make it easier for you guys to start using it by like making things less confusing and so much more user friendly, then everyone's going to get it to a point of value really quick. So that's part of what we're trying to do is like, how do we make this thing super simple for people? And I'll give you another peek behind the hood here. So we have this whole like wizard. I'm going to show you guys this, but I'd love to get your guys' feedback on it. That's for where we're going with this, to make sure we're on the right like pathway to make things easier. Maybe some of you guys have seen a couple of these, but so when you log into LeadSnap, this is what you're going to see when you first start, is this like start page, right? Where it's like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to connect the website? So if I click on connect the website, I'm going to go over here and be like, okay, here's a little video that will tell you why this is like, why you should do this and the benefits. Here's a demo showing you it. If you continue, it's going to say, hey, okay, which company? Maybe you don't have a company, so we'll make a new company, right? Once I have that, okay, is this a WordPress site or is this some other site? So let's say it's WordPress. Here's the steps on how you can connect your WordPress site, right? Step 1, log into WordPress. 2, add this plugin. Copy this link right here. Okay, we've connected it. Now let's test to see if we have like a real connection. So you go to your website and actually like send a test lead. So we check for the test lead, we have it. Okay, so let's go on to the next step. Okay, these are the fields that we found on your website. Here are the fields that we found inside of your that we have in LeadSnap. And if it's not there, you can create a new one right here. So if I wanted to create a new one, I'll create a new text field. I'll enter that information, and then I can have that field right there. And then I click on finish, and my website is connected and everything's good. And we're kind of doing the same thing. So now we've got this like checked off. So what do you guys think of this? Does this look like it's easier to work with? Cool. Janeri says much easier. Paul, are you dialed in on this, Mr. Paul Myers?
I I'm learning. I'm not dialed in on it. That's for sure.
Does this look like an easier process? Because I know that you tried to go through LeadSnap before and it was there was like some confusion on how to connect things, right? I'm just wondering if like that's what I'm trying to reduce is that friction when you're getting started. And I'm wondering, does this make sense to you? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to take a look at it again, but it looks pretty straightforward for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think that's a big problem for us is like, we have this like race car. We got this, what I feel like is like a Ferrari that's parked in the garage. And a lot of people will get in there and they'll just drive it around the neighborhood at like 15 miles an hour because they don't like, hey, we don't really understand how to drive the Ferrari. Right. So, okay, let's make the Ferrari easier to use. So we can just like turn the key and start like press on the gas pedal and then it just goes. So that's kind of what I'm hoping is going to come from this is we're going to make it so easy for people to use and get started and start getting value from this. And you guys can get wins quicker. So yeah, any other feedback I'd love to hear, whether it's on this call or after the call, but we kind of got in a tangent here showing off some new features. Hopefully you guys like what's coming. I think it's going to really just bury the competition for this like GBP heat map management stuff. And honestly, this is like only a portion of what's coming. Like some of this other stuff is it's gonna separate us even more when we drop some of this stuff in here that I haven't got into today. But so that's that. Where are we at? We're at 55. What other questions do you guys have? What else are you stuck with? Ask me anything. Nothing too personal, but what can I do? What can I do to help you guys move your business forward?
Oh.
Speechless.
Question, Nick. Yeah, what do you got, brother?
All right, this may sound a little silly, but this is the point of the presentation here is we're gonna ask stupid stuff. It seems that when I forecast in LeadSnap, put a deal in, even though I select, let's say May 15th, it always seems to default and I have to go back in and edit it. Is that a bug or is it something I'm doing wrong?
When you forecast, what do you mean by forecast?
So let's say I put something in the pipeline, a deal with ABC Contact for $5,000. And I want it to close. I suggest May 15th.
Okay.
As I enter it, it defaults to the date I put it back in. I've been noticing, and then I caught a couple, so I go in and fix it. Is it a bug or is it me doing something different?
So you're putting the date in, and then when you go back, the date isn't what you set it to?
Yeah, once it's saved, the date's today's date. So I go back in and edit again before someone in my company gets anxious about a deal closing the same day.
Okay, let me go into pipelines here and make sure we're on the same page. It's always better to be able to get your eyes on it, right? Okay, cool. You can see my screen, right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I've got these like two pipelines here.
Yep.
And I'm going to create a new deal. That's what it sounds like you're doing, right? So this will call this like Nick's deal. And so I'm going to set the close date to the 21st.
Sure.
Right. And I know that we need a stage, so we'll put it in stage 1. And then I'll click on save. I need a company. So we'll associate this with Carol's Roofing.
Yeah.
Okay. So the close date, it looks like a bug.
It's the 19th, see?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a bug. So
Okay.
let's hey Jeff, can you send that over to Joran? Did you see how we created that? Sorry about that, man. I didn't know that was going on. We'll get that fixed right away. That looks like a pretty simple fix.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody else struggling with something? Where are you struggling in your business? Everyone's killing it. Are you guys afraid to ask stupid questions? Because don't be. I'll tell you.
I did. So follow along. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll ask something.
What do you got? Look at this guy. Looks
And
like
I'm swagged up today. Look at this.
Oh, man.
On brand.
Yeah. That's that's a great looking shirt, man.
Thank you. Fits really good. Makes me look extra muscular. Appreciate it. Yeah, since I guess more of a sharing a little win, and I can talk about what's going on. But yeah, since the mastermind I've closed, like I've just kind of untapped a bunch of revenue streams, but now my day-to-day is a complete mess. I find myself like switching between tasks way too often. like I'm trying to do a little bit on this one and a little bit on this one and a little bit on this one. And it's just like the whole process is such a giant mess. So I'm happy about the photos, being able to drip those in and the posts as well. But yeah, like I'm a little scattered because I quickly, I can't say I'm at capacity yet, but I'm working like pretty long hours, taking on a lot of SEO clients and then trying to rank my own lead gens. And then I found out that I'm like crushing. I worked with a couple of friends to unstick lead gens that they couldn't sell for like over a year. And I'm just like flying on those. So it's just like a real scattered right now. And so, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with, is just like I'm working a ton of hours and it feels like I'm not getting very much done every day because my cost of switching tasks is really high. And it's annoying. I need to find a better way, or else my ceiling is going to be a lot lower than
All right.
what I'd like.
Let me ask you a question. Has anyone like gifted you a book in the last 60 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. What book did they give you?
You gave me Buy Back Your Time.
Have you read that one?
Yeah, I got a content planner. It took a lot of time off my plate.
That's good.
I got a content writer.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time off my plate. Yeah.
You've got to, I've read that book multiple times now, and it's easy. It's easy to like read through a chapter. Like the book is it's very easy to read it, but there's so much meat in there that has to happen. And so you can read, like I mentioned this on a call a couple of weeks ago, you can read the chapter in 30 minutes and it can take you 3 weeks to implement the stuff from it.
Yeah.
But I think this is where you have to be, man. I think you really got to do that time audit, right? Where you're writing down, so you can set the alarm on your phone every 15 minutes and just write down. It's kind of sounds like it's annoying, but what's more annoying is not having time, because you're spending so much time doing this stuff. So like you start writing down like, hey, what is that low dollar task that sucks my energy? What is the high dollar task that sucks my energy?
Yeah.
What's the high dollar task that gives me high energy, right? So how do we start to like buy back our time from the things in the correct order, right? So I think he calls it the delegation quadrant, right? So how do we get rid of that delegation quadrant for those things that are 10, 15, $20 an hour that we can just pay someone else to do that? This, you've created problems. And I think I even mentioned it at the mastermind. If you kind of take some of this stuff, you're going to create problems for yourself. That's great. Let's keep moving forward though, because a lot of people are going to get burned out and they're going to get stuck where you are. So going back through it and actually trying to do each one of those things, man. And I'm super, it's so cool to see that you've had so much success since the mastermind. That was our goal. That was right, is to try to jumpstart people. Are you gonna join us for the next one at the end of July?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to tell me when.
Yeah, I think we sold out.
We have to win. Yeah.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I'll just crash it. I don't even care.
Yeah, this one is gonna be I think bigger and better, man. I'm actually going to look. On last time I was like, man, one of the learning experiences I had is I wish I would have saw the place before we got there, and just because the neighborhood, like, this is an amazing mansion and kind of what felt like a sketch neighborhood. It had this like backyard with the pool and like the tennis court and a basketball court, and there was a wall, and it kind of felt like if that ball came off the basket wrong, it could have gone over the wall onto the highway, because there was actually a street sign right there. So next one's going to be in Orlando. So we're driving to Orlando this weekend to go and check it out. But the next one, man, it looks, the house looks so ridiculous. There's like a bowling alley in it and like all kinds of stuff. It's going to be, it's wild. I think it's going to be, laser tag. There's laser tag in there.
Those were the things that were missing from the last one. So
I know.
Finally,
that was a lot of the feed. It was unexpected, but a lot of feedback was, hey, there's no laser tag. Which I was like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, you guys, we're over 4 o'clock. I'm gonna hop off here. I'll present what we're gonna present next week. It's gonna be kind of like a condensed version of what I spoke about at the event, because I think there's a lot of people that can benefit from it. Alec, you might benefit from to hear it again, because now you're in a situation where maybe it's more applicable than what it was during the event, where it's like, how do I get my time back? Right. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, I hope you guys like this call. I know it was a little disorganized, but it gives us a little freedom to have more conversations rather than just like straight presentations. So cool. All right. Well, you guys have a great week. Do what you got to do between now and next week to create some wins so that we can really pump up those wins, move your business forward, move your life forward. All right, guys. We'll see you guys in a week. Take care.